So I'm sitting in traffic here at the school, my kid's school pickup line with my youngest, Logan. Say hi. And I decided to do a quick review on the Banks Derringer plus PedalMonster and iDash combo. So those of you who are on the fence on pulling the trigger or not, I have a 2021 Laremy EcoDiesel that I decided to, let's do something before instead of a tune or something like that. I didn't want to mess with the emissions or anything like that just yet. So that was my reasoning for going with Banks. I heard a lot of good things about it online. I did my own, amount of research on it, and this is what it looks like. I have it mounted on with one of those single gauge suction cups things. It was the cheapest option out there. I wasn't going to try to go all out on this thing, but so far, overall impressions, very impressed. I like especially the throttle response with the PedalMonster, incredible. That alone is a huge difference. The power add from the Derringer is it makes a difference at the top end. I think the power is there. It's noticeable. I think it's definitely something that's very simple to do. You can do it on your own. It doesn't require a lot of mechanical experience really. As long as you have the right tools, you're not gonna have a hard time. My truck was lifted, so I had to lay flat on the ground. Not lifted, leveled, and I had to lay flat on the top of the engine bay. So that was quite the experience because the sensors are in the back. So I'll talk a little bit about that, right? What is Banks? What does it do? For those of you guys who are still reading up on it, it's not a tune. It's like a sensor, inline sensor manipulation device. It goes plugged into your fuel rail sensor. So the Banks has a wire harness and it has a fuel rail sensor plug that adapts very well to the weather sealed mechanisms of those plugs. So I think it does a pretty good job at creating a seal. So fuel rail sensor and your map sensor. And both of those sensors are located all the way in the back of the engine bay, real close to the firewall. You have to take the engine cover off. You have to take this heat shield sink off. You have to drop your air intake tubing. You have to drop, I think, the turbo manifold. A couple of things you got to do there to be able to get to the back of the sensors. But once you do that, it's fairly simple. Once you figure out how to run the cables all the way through to the battery, through the back of the battery per se, then that's when you connect to the Derringer adapter. So you plug that in. It has two connectors. You have to make sure that the lines line up and make sure that it creates a good seal. Otherwise, you might mess things up. So make sure that you don't force it because it has quite a few pins. And if you have the nozzle that has the line alignment on it, if that, I can't in the back. If that's off, you're gonna bend the pins, and then it's you may have issues with it. But just be very careful with that. The instructions are very clear. The videos are very clear. I think Banks did a pretty good job at sort of helping it be an easy DIY. Once you do that, there's you can run the wire into your cabin through a firewall hole inside in there. There's a very soft, seal for on the firewall between the engine bay and their cabin. And what I did was I just drilled a hole through it with the drill bit and I pushed the cables through it. I didn't want a gap or anything in there, so that helped quite a bit. And then once you do that, you're basically set for the Derringer. And then you want to add the pedal commander, and you want to do that all, not the pedal commander, the PedalMonster. You want to do it all at the same time because you can actually do the Banks without the PedalMonster, but then you have to actually take everything back out again, run the wires down, because the PedalMonster goes connected to the sensor in the back of your accelerator. It's a throttle sensor in the back of the accelerator. All of that stuff is electric. So you plug the wire harness from the PedalMonster in there, and then the car's plug goes connected to the wire harness. And then essentially, once you do that, then you have your pedal monster, you have your Derringer in line. And then you want to connect everything up to your iDash, your little adapter here. So in the back of the iDash is your 2 plugs. One is going to be coming from your OBD connection. So it does go connected to your OBD port. Down here, I don't know if you guys can see it. But it's quite dark down there and the light probably doesn't adjust. So, but yeah, it does go connected to your OBD port. It's very beneficial because it does read a lot of your computer's settings, and you can display things that you normally can't. For instance, I like to see my DPF suit level, so that's, oh, wow. I like to see my DPF suit level, so that's right there in the middle, in the center cluster. Right there is at 52%. It's very, useful to put some of the emissions metrics in there. It can come in handy, if to avoid and prevent things that lead to weird posts on the internet about diesels sucking balls and things like that. So yeah, so once you have that together, then you connect it to the iDash, then you set your settings. Here I have it set up so that you can see the pedal monster on the left here. You can adjust the levels here of the pedal monster however you want. I'm on sport. You can go up to track all the way to like track 10. That's way too sensitive. So I like to drive in sport, not in sport. Sport 5. And your Derringer, same thing. So if you want to switch to the Derringer side, you can just basically hit the left arrow here. And now you can set your Derringer to whatever threshold you want. There's a total of 6. You can only go up to 6. I leave it at 4. I find that that's a pretty decent setting for me. I like to have the power there and available in case I need it. So that works tremendously. But yeah, overall that it's a pretty good device. It reads your engine codes. You can go into your settings here, down to like diagnostics, and you can do vehicle diagnostics on the car to read all your vehicle codes and things like that. I'm assuming I'm gonna get 0 codes back because I don't have anything on my dash. Let's see, yeah, no codes found. And you can clear your vehicle codes as well if you have any of them. Do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things. It's a very useful little iDash thing. I found it convenient. It's small. It just sits there in front of me, and I can quickly glance at it and adjust the power of what I'm, getting into. So I think for those of you guys on the fence, if you have $900 laying around, you can throw the entire setup. Go ahead and do it. I think it definitely helps. I don't think it's going to add any negative impact to the car, but I'll tell you in a couple of thousand more miles. And yeah, I hope this has been somewhat informational for you guys. I hope I helped some folks that were researching this. I know that I had quite a bit of researching to do myself, and I looked in a lot of different places. So I hope it's been good.